Hey, what's going on? Miguel, host of Light Full Circle Radio. Happy to see y'all this week as the Democratic National Convention is past us now. So now it's on and popping. So we're in a sprint to the finish when it comes down to this election. And it's getting nasty and nasty about a week. So I think, let me see, Hulk Hogan said he wanted to body slam Kamala Harris. Let's see, whatever nut job stuff. Every time Trump goes to a rally, say something crazy. And I got a clip of JD Vance trying to apologize for the story back in the day when Trump went to the funeral of the service members and blew that. So, but it's going to be interesting. We also going to talk about the initial investors of X that came into business with Elon Musk, and it's just no surprises. I didn't put it on the list, but Kia, pull up the story about the guy from Telegram who supposedly says he got 100 kids, but he's talking about he got locked up supposedly. These people are losing their goddamn minds. All right, social media, come follow us on all the socials. We are live right now across as we record this, and of course you may be picking it up at a different time on your own time. But as you can see, today's recap, DNZ convention recap is what we're talking about. Twitter investors, Cam Newton. We're going to spend some time on that. Cam Newton is afraid of marriage, but he ain't afraid of dropping no more kids. So we're going to spend some time on that. Super producer.
What's up? And listen, there's actually more that we need to talk about that's not on the list. So much happens. There's also a video that's trending right now on social media with the hashtag I'm not with her, where they found 12 black women to say that they are voting for Donald Trump and not Kamala Harris, saying that I'm not with her. So if you, I swear to God, I need to just write it down on my hand and just look at my hand. The voting for Kamala, I know. And guys, listen, I'm not doing this on some Trump being mean thing. Miguel will tell you this has been the entire time. It's the whole time. It's
What's so funny,
Kamala.
because I hear somebody, it was somebody, I think it was Al Sharpton, and then it was somebody else black that was of a certain age, and they kept calling her Kamala. And I just looked at it, I said, there's some OGs that they can't, it's not going to work for them.
I mean, I feel bad. I think it's because I'm so used to the names in the community. Mm-hmm. Kamala is not how it's pronounced. There are other women
named Kamala or have a name that's spelled like that at all. You know some people named with that name?
Kamala?
No, I've never heard anybody named Kamala.
Well, in the Indian community, there are several little girls who have that same name, and it's pronounced Kamala. It is not pronounced Kamala. So I'm so used to all the letters being pronounced in a specific way, where it's like, how many syllables? You're clapping your hands.
Well, no, that's interesting because now mind you, these old black folks and these racist white people, they're not mispronouncing their name because they know about the Indian names. They're just doing it because it is what it is. But if it's pronounced Kamala in Indian heritage, it's interesting. But we're not going to spend too much time on that. All right.
No, we're not. And just really quick, if I think I told you the names of my mom and her sisters, and all the letters are pronounced. Bhagwanti, Tejwati, Pejwati. All the letters are pronounced. Nothing is silent. Nothing is for guessing. Anyway, let's get it on and popping. There's so much stuff to discuss today. I'm already exhausted. So
as we talked about, the DNC was last week, and it was a celebration. Celebrate. You had what's the guy? My man, Pastor Mike at the D. It seems like this stuff was like ages ago, and this was just last week.
It was just last week. It was last week. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
No, started on Monday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Monday was they got Joe Biden out the way and we don't let him take his nap on Monday. And then Tuesday, I think it was Bill Clinton. Was Bill Clinton on Tuesday? Or was Hillary on Tuesday? Hillary's on Tuesday. I'm just thinking headlines because there's a ton of people who came up there and talked. Bill really, and you may not be paying attention younger in your life. Bill came out as being this virile young guy when he first ran for president. That was the relative, spin on Bill.
That was a spin. I was going to say that's not how he originally came out, but that ended up being the spin. You remember the moment? Where did he go to get that spin of him being cool and hip?
Remind me.
Arsenio Hall. He played the saxophone.
Oh yeah,
Arsenio's
yeah. When he
Hall.
played the sax, yeah.
And
Well, yeah,
everything
yeah,
around.
yeah. All of a sudden, then he became cool. But he was really showing. I think this is the last time they're gonna run him out there at the DNC because he was looking real old on Wednesday. He just was just like, yeah, brother, it's time.
And it's interesting because he looked so old and crotchety, but Hillary looked vibrant, like she had just gotten some Botox, some filler, got her little tight Aquanet roller wrap. I'm not saying I did not say she came out here looking like Taylor Swift or Blake Lively. I'm saying that she came out there looking refreshed.
She looked
She came
like
out there
old,
stepping her step and beat it.
old pantsuit Hillary to me. She looked like the same old pantsuits Hillary to me.
I love her, but I'm dying to see her in a really nice A-line dress. Just put an A-line dress.
I'm sure we could probably look it up somewhere. But the convention was interesting. The side by sides of showing the RNC and the delegate announcements and
The
the
roll
DNC
call.
and the roll call and Little John and all of that.
Did you see the poor man from Wisconsin who couldn't get it together? He couldn't say the delegates thing from his state and he was struggling. He's actually trying to say it. He's stuttering, can't figure it out. He finally says, "Oh God, this is embarrassing." And then keeps trying to talk and it just don't come out. I thought he was going to be like, "F it. I can't do it. We got delegates over here. Keep it moving."
Yeah. It was real interesting, the convention. And I think they did a great job. I think that since this announcement, the whole thing with Joe Biden was really scaring the crap out of most of us because we were like, this is really bad. And when the announcement came down that Joe Biden was going to step down, my first response was, I don't want to say on the air. I was just like, why did y'all wait so late? But then I started thinking about, and I said, everything that they've done since that announcement has been brilliant. It's been brilliant. The first time that they will do a interview will be tomorrow on CNN. They haven't done any interviews. That's been one of the things, and Trump has said it from his rallies that the personal attacks he has to do because he's got to try to frame who she is. They can't frame who she is. They can't put her in a box. They've been trying.
They've been trying so hard, and everything has failed.
Yeah, everything.
And they've even moved on to the children, trying to frame it like, "Oh, look at your stepkids. You must be a bad mom. Look at your son. You must be a bad father." It's like that's what y'all going with.
Right. That's the best that you can do. And the problem is that black women are known as being the best clapbackers in the world. So when you start talking about trying to get into a clapback situation, because the whole Kamala HQ IG page is just smoking Trump on a daily.
Yeah, the HQ page and the Twitter page. It's somebody who's just like, "Oh, my only job is this. I don't have to leave the house. I just have to do this." Cool, great.
God, they're wearing him out, man, with his own words. And so when they finally have this debate, when you think about this debate it's going to be like watching an episode of Law and Order, right? It's going to be this prosecutor.
Remember the Law and Order entry at the DNC?
No, I don't think I saw that.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I don't think. Yeah, I saw so much last week. It's
okay. So if you guys missed it, you can Google it. One of the intros, it might have been on night 2, like Wednesday or Tuesday night. They start opening the DNC with the Law and Order opening. You know, in New York City, there are 2 sides, the prosecutors and and it went into then Donald Trump and then Kamala being a prosecutor and Trump having criminal things and the announcer. It's like, so you got permission from Dick Wolf to use this on a national platform?
But everybody is all in. They're like, man.
The people are represented by 2 separate yet equally important groups. The police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. This is the story of Donald Trump. His entire life, Trump has believed he's above the law, that no one would ever dare hold him accountable. He lies. He rips off workers. He sexually abuses women.
Hey, when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
He cheats in business. He cheated on his wife with a porn star and paid her off so the American people wouldn't find out during an election. But in the criminal justice system, ordinary Americans have had the courage to find him accountable time and time again.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Donald Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts.
For the first time in history, we have a convicted felon running for president. And to take on this case, we need a president who has spent her life prosecuting perpetrators like Donald Trump. He tried overturning Georgia's free and fair election.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
He's tried to escape any responsibility for instigating the January 6th attack on our Capitol.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you.
And if elected, Trump has promised to overturn laws that would keep him accountable and exact retribution on anyone he considers an enemy, even warning of a bloodbath if he doesn't get his way. So we, the people, have a chance to render our own verdict on Donald Trump.
You can pause it.
We are the jury he most fears. When we vote this November, we vote for justice, accountability, and the rule of law that keeps America free.
They are wearing his behind out right about now.
I mean, you don't get any, and again, they're not making anything up. It's not over exaggerations. Like a lot of these times with these political commercials, it's over exaggerations of what's been said or done or misconstrued. None of that's misconstrued. None of that's a lie. He was convicted. Those are real headlines. Those are his words. That's all the facts. He's a prosecutor. I mean, Law and Order, him being on Law and Order, yes, it's a little bit of distortion, but overall, those are facts, and that's really what's going on. And he can't fight it, can't face it. So we'll see what happens in the debate. The debate's going to be interesting. The DNC did have one downside, which I agree with a lot of people who are saying this. Okay. There was not one mention of the issue in Israel from the Palestinian standpoint, which I feel like there should have been at least one Palestinian speaker. I'm pretty sure they can find one who was going to support the Democrats to say something, but to exclude them altogether seems like a huge misstep. Huge miscalculation.
Here's where I hear you, but I don't understand why. Young people are really, really locked into this issue. They are. My daughter's really, really locked into this issue. It is really, really a really tough issue to deal with. But this ain't the time to deal with it during the campaign, right? Because it's just not. It's too many uninformed, low education voters out here who don't need to be reminded why young people were down on Joe Biden. And this is the one thing they were digging into, the Palestinian issue, which is a huge issue. It's a real issue, but it's an issue that if Donald Trump is in there, it's not going to get better. It's going to be worse. He's going to be like putting meat in the middle of a ring to watch them really, really fight it out. So, but
I think in Kamala's speech, there was a misstep, though. She said that we support Israel and their right to defend themselves. Okay, so when does it stop being defend themselves and when does it start being genocide? That's what I feel like she wasn't as clear as she probably needed to be. Did you hear that part of the speech? Because I heard that part.
I did, and I heard her come right behind that and also talk about, the Palestinians as well. And I think she did the best job she could do of towing that line in that moment. But it's tough, man. It is really, really tough. I was talking to a good friend of mine who's a Muslim, and we got to talking about it. And we started walking through the geography of it and saying, where is it that the two-state solution, how is that going to work? And now to get back, we did a whole show on that. We have folks on. You can go back, go to our YouTube, and you can listen to some folks who are a little bit more knowledgeable about it than us. But I don't know how else you handle that conversation. So I get it, but I don't think that you could have, no matter what you did, if you gave the person with the Palestinian position on that mic, it would have been damaging to this campaign.
I don't know. I guess just to leave them out altogether on such a huge issue. Like, again, the Democrats want the young voters, and yes, we have some young voters, and there are. But I don't know. Like you said, you're right. It's just a really bad, hard issue to talk about. There's nothing you can do.
They are praying. Because you think about it. Think about it. If you remember, everybody thought Hillary Clinton was going to beat Trump until about 10 days before the election. And there was something that rolled out in the press, and I'm trying to remember what it was right now. I think it was the emails.
Her emails. It was her emails and what's his name?
And it was somebody in the
it was the FBI director. It was the FBI
director. Yeah. And so there's no time for missteps right now. You know,
No.
you got less than 70 days to figure out how to get across the finish line on this thing. And there's so many low information voters, man. I just see people that, you know, and a lot of it is I've been trying to defend this whole black man conversation, and it's still 80 to 85% of black men still going to vote for Kamala.
Yes.
But there's just so many idiots out here that's talking about the stimmy check from Trump and how unemployment was low under Trump. Like, you idiot. We were
Unemployment
in the house
is
for
low
2.5
now.
years. We were in the house for 2.5 years. 2.5 years we were in the house because of COVID, right? And then they start, you know, things like inflation. And I'm just like, you guys stop acting like y'all know what y'all talking about. Like y'all been paying attention to this stuff before the last 2-3 years you looking on social media. But it's a loud clanging drum that we just got to figure out how to drown this stuff out and just understand the alternative is amazing. But
I appreciate people like D.L. Hughley, because in his speech he actually apologized. The disrespect should be the apology should be louder than disrespect. And he came out and said, I did my own research and I learned more. And his speech was very funny, but it was also good to see him apologize. But still, again, Trump is trying to. And a lot of people are trying so hard to shape this narrative about her. Even, let's just jump ahead, because once we get off this political stuff, guys, we're going to go into fun talk, and I'm going to roast the shit out of Cam Newton and Nick Cannon. But I'm going to roll into this commercial with the black women that says, you know, I'm not with her. They are not saying why they are not with her. They're just saying, I'm not with her because I'm not with her. And I'm voting for Donald Trump because he's the best one to do blah, 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 blah. But how? Nobody's saying how. It's because I am.
Those people who have those type of dialogues, they can never lay claim or present to us why is it they believe that Kamala is worse than Trump. Because I've heard people say, you know, tell me why you're voting for Kamala without mentioning Trump. Well, I can run down a whole list of things that she has done. You know, and the whole thing about she's never done anything. Anybody who says that, I'm just like, you know what, there's no reason to even engage in a conversation with you, because you obviously have no idea what you're talking about. Then you also have no idea what a vice president does. Because when people say what she has done as vice president, I say, what did Dan Quayle do as vice president?
Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
The only vice president who got stuff done was Dick Cheney.
And that was shooting somebody in the face.
Stop bringing that up.
But you know what's so funny? Before we pivot, did you catch Wendy D.L. Hughley today and how he's accepted Dr. Umar Johnson's debate challenge based on one condition? Because Dr. Umar Johnson is now, for people who don't know, Dr. Umar Johnson, whatever he is, he's a social media guy. But did you catch that and what the condition was?
What's the condition? I didn't know anything about these two Negroes arguing.
All right, so here's what's going on. Dr. Umar Johnson challenged all this comedy cues to a debate. So that's DL, that's Steve Harvey, that's Ricky Smiley. He wants to debate them or whatever on Kamala Harris. DL Hughley says, yeah, I'll debate you. I'll debate you on one condition. We got to have it in the auditorium of your school. Now, the story behind that is that he's raised millions of dollars for this school that has never manifested. He's raised all this money. He's grifted all this money from people. He don't have no damn school. He's been talking about building this school for the last 10 years, raising millions of dollars, and he's not built one damn school.
Oh, so no, is he like another Talcum X? Is he Talcum X?
If you want to go down that route, I guess he is.
Where is he, by the way? Where is Talcum?
He tired of y'all, man. He's somewhere chilling. I'm tired of y'all, man. And he kicked him off social media. He said, man, I'm done with y'all. Y'all done got on my daggum nerves. All right, let me see. Before we move on, because
if you pull up Talcum X, his name comes up.
Jesus, man.
I love that way.
All right, couple other big stories that have happened this week. X's initial shareholders were revealed. And of course, the names aren't any surprise.
Not at all.
Sean Diddy Combs, Jack Dorsey. I don't know who Bill Ackman is. I don't know who he is, but yeah. So because I saw
he's a hedge fund manager.
Okay, I saw what's my man who used this South African dude who was hosting the Daily Show and then stopped. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about. That South African. Him.
Jesus Christ! Why can't I think of his name? I know you're talking
Trevor
about
Noah.
because he's also in Black Panther.
Trevor Noah. And so he did a deal. He talked about how Elon Musk had leveraged, from a tax perspective, his Twitter stock, but he didn't have it. Point being, we knew he didn't go out here and buy this thing all by himself. We knew he was grifting somehow, and these are the people that are caught up in that grift. And it's so funny. InvestFest was here this past weekend here in Atlanta. They say I don't know, they claim some absurd number was attended. We didn't go. I was nowhere near trying to be near there. But Diddy was walking around as celebrity last year. Of course, no Diddy was there this year. So there's that story. So then there is, let me see what else. There was some other stories we had that I had pulled. We're going to look at this Lincoln Project. Lincoln Project continues for the win. And I don't know, where'd you go? There you go. Lincoln Project for the win because, once again, they continue to tell these creepy stories about the Republicans. And here's the latest one.
Driver's license, registration.
Here you go, sir. How's your day going?
That's your daughter?
Sure is.
Abigail, right?
How do you know her?
Were you about 8 weeks pregnant? So you've been spotting recently. You've had any cramps or nausea?
That's personal.
You've been taking your prenatal vitamins?
Excuse me?
Are you ticketing me for something?
Where are you heading, Abigail?
To go see my older sister, Natalie.
Well, that's strange. 'Cause it says here that Natalie's at a concert in Dallas. And your navigation is set to a women's health clinic in one of those abortion states.
We have the right to travel.
Not anymore. Step out of the car.
Please, officer.
Both of you out now. You, sir, are under arrest for crossing state lines to obtain an abortion for a minor under your care. And you, young lady, well, you're under arrest for evading motherhood.
I've never watched The Handmaid's Tales. I hear women talk. Have you watched this show?
Watch it.
You never watched it.
You and Trace need to watch it.
I think Trey's already watched it. I think she watched it already.
Okay.
But
do you know what it's about?
Tell me, educate me.
So The Handmaid's Tale is about a dystopian future where religious, overzealous men take over the government, take over not all of the United States, but a portion of the United States, and they outlaw divorce. So if you've ever been divorced, that is retroactive, doesn't exist. So your second wife becomes your mistress, whatever that's called. And if your second wife, or if your second wife, or you're a woman who's never been married and had children, you automatically become a handmaid, meaning you automatically get shipped off to a family to have children for them. The wife is in the room while the husband basically sexually assaults the handmaid to bring a child into the world. The wife is completely fine with it because it's of God. It's all about Jesus. It's of God, and God said, "Be fruitful and multiply, and may the Lord open." It's that whole thing. Women have no rights. The women, even if they're married to somebody wealthy, the women are not allowed to read. If they're caught reading, they are punished physically, like a finger is chopped off. It's women have zero rights, zero worth. There's no, and that's why they're comparing a lot of these things to The Handmaid's Tale, because they're making it so having a child, we control your bodies. That's basically what Handmaid's Tale is, that we control every aspect of your body.
Yeah.
And the only bright side of The Handmaid's Tale, and that's a weird thing to say, is that if a man is caught sexually assaulting, like outside of the confines of his marriage, assaulting a handmaid, they murder him in the streets in front of everybody. Silver lining?
So, so that's The Handmaid's Tale. Jesus.
Anyway, that was a crazy commercial. Very creepy.
Yeah, every time the Lincoln Project put these ads together, I don't know how well they're landing to people in the center, because it's people in the center that they're trying to reach. people who have been Republicans in the past, and the Navarros of the world, who are now trying their best to bring it back. They do some amazing projects and amazing storytelling. But it's just, this Project 2025, and Trump's trying to run away from it, and it's, you can't run away from it when these people are out here and they're pushing this agenda. So, so there's that. But so just keep an eye out. We'll see as the next few weeks, next couple of months come down. We're going to continue to see stuff like this. It's going to hit the ground. All right. So you ready to get into this conversation about Cam Newton? Cam Newton. Well, you set it up. You set it up because I saw it earlier. I saw bits of it, but you set it up. You said there's a Nick Cannon angle too.
Okay. Yeah. So. It's my dad wanting to comment on the show. I wish he would just comment like regular people instead of calling me on the phone. It's so weird. Anyway, so Cam Newton on his podcast had Dr. Bryant, and he made a very precarious statement how, he has a...
Tell us who Dr. Bryant is, because she seems to be somebody of people know who she is. She's somebody.
Well, she's new. She's not a new doctor, but she's new on the scene, and she's actually been on Basketball Wives, like as odd as that sounds. And she's recently come into prominence, and she's on Cam Newton's show. And I feel like Cam Newton and Nick Cannon both had her on because they thought she was just some sexy, flexy girl claiming to be a doctor, and that she just be pretty to have on the show. They had no idea that they were going to get really put to task like she did. Mm-hmm. But and I'll get more information about her as we go. But Cam basically made a statement that his fear of marriage outweighs, or his fear of divorce outweighs his desire of marriage. Keep in mind, Cam Newton has 8 kids by 3 different women. Nick Cannon also says he's taking his time to get married. He's doing things intentionally, even though he has 12 kids from 5 different women. None of these things are intentional. And this doctor is basically saying, you may say you're doing things intentionally or that you're taking your time, but you're not. So let's go ahead and play the clip and then we can get into it.
All right. So.
Think that I'm not high function.
What situation?
Okay, so I'm not married. I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
By how many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more.
By multiple women? What's the intent?
I just want God
by your wife?
Bring them. I just want God to bring them.
Oh, okay.
My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. So, as you had said, Dr. Bryant, you said it, I didn't say it, I will agree. I'm just taking my time.
You're not taking your time.
I am, though.
You're being very action-based. You're not taking your time.
I'm taking my time.
You're being very action-based. You have 8 kids with 3 different women.
Yes.
You are creating, procreating, and multiplying. That is not taking your time. You're being very selectively active, okay? So you're creating, in disclaimer, the kids are innocent, they are beautiful and amazing. Anything I say has nothing to do with them babies. But you are proactively choosing where you want to be active at and where you want to take your time. You want to take your time in having a wife because of your own fears. But you will, and I say this with all respect and love, what I'm about to say next, okay, Cam? But you will selfishly create broken families, even if you're in their life and you're a proactive father, and I believe you're an amazing daddy. I can only imagine with just your presence and knowing you. But these families are still broken. Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all, will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there. Now, you chose to do that. I'm not saying you sat there and woke up one morning and said, I want to be selfish today, so I'm going to go make a baby. Not saying that at all. But those are selfish acts at the expense of your fear. And yeah, that is a low-functioning behavior. To say that I'm going to build these houses and put kids and these beautiful women and kids in them, but I ain't going to create a home in them. I'm going to wait till I dissipate my fear to find a wife where I'm still going to be fearful with, because there's no such thing as not having some type of nerve or some type of feeling behind marrying somebody. And then I'm going to build a home with her while all these other beautiful babies have houses. That's completely unfair and that's selfish. And so, yes, you're taking your time in this department, but you're not taking your time in this department, which means you're compartmentalizing. And compartmentalizing never works. Compartmentalizing hurts everybody involved. Everybody who's in this box and that box and this box and that box and this box. And then here you go over here trying to figure out what box you're going to feed or entertain or do. Then you're looking outside to figure out who's your next victim to put in the box.
Next victim.
Yeah, she broke that thing all the way down, and I don't know. I guess that's what was that on Cam Newton's? I guess that's on his podcast.
That's on his own podcast. You got embarrassed on your own podcast.
Hey, man. So I'm gonna let you give your response first, and then I'm gonna give my response.
My response to men like him who don't understand, who think they're taking their time in fear of marriage, you're not scared of marriage. You're scared of losing money in a divorce. Let's call a spade a spade. You are not worried about being married. You are worried about if your prenup isn't as ironclad as you need it to be, and that she'll leave you, and then you'll have to lose money, lose whatever. It's not about being scared of marriage. And I think I wish more men would admit I'm scared of getting divorced. I'm scared of having to lose money and things that I've earned to give to somebody else rather than saying I'm scared of marriage. Because what's scary about marriage? You're a man. When you talk to your male friends, what is scary about being married?
Oh no, marriage is a commitment, right? Marriage, if you really want to be married, and where you run into things that you did or people you were engaged with or what things you want to do before, you can't do it anymore. And so, yeah, no, marriage can be scary if you're not ready. Marriage ain't for the weak. But yes, I think part of Cam's issue is money, because he's not in the league. He hasn't been in the league. I think this is probably his third year out of the league. So
yes,
he's no longer making that type of money. Now, has he done well with investments? I have no idea.
It seems like he's done pretty well.
Hopefully he's done well, and he's not, he's not missing the money that he was getting. He was making a lot of money in the NFL. But that brother sounds hurt, right? He sounds like he's got some issues. I don't know the history of his family. I don't know, what sort of things of that nature. Anybody that goes out and just starts popping kids everywhere like that, I always kind of question why they're like that, right?
Yeah.
But the sister really, really broke it down when he said that he was more afraid of divorce than he was in getting married. And we are in a society now that having kids with whoever is just a way of life. It's what people do.
I thought we were out of this phase. I thought we were.
No, we'll never be out of this phase. No, why'd you think that?
Because for a while there, but I want to say between 2010 and 2020, that was the new hotness. I don't got to get married to you, but I have your baby. And I thought in 2020, we had started to phase out of that. I'm just going to have babies with you with no commitment, no nothing, no marriage. And I feel like I'm saying that less and less. I could be wrong.
No, I think that you're seeing like the kids that are my daughter's age, she was in her mid-20s. They seem to be, a little bit more. But, Cam, like you said, it was busy the 2000s and 2010s. You say you got 8 kids, and we start popping them babies. I'm sure in the 2000s, right? And
no, it's true.
And so, I just, I watched that, and he had to know that he was going to get, it was going to be a therapy session is on his show. And what he is going to get, I think we're at a stage right now with social media and with someone like Cam, who right now probably is making a significant amount of money, or at least a decent amount of money with his social media and with what he's doing on the internet. It's probably a significant part of his income. They don't really care anymore as long as it gets to clicks and engagement. It's really about people like us and everybody else talking about them, and that's what's important. And I just don't. I wouldn't choose to live my life in public like that. But
do you think he thought he was gonna get embarrassed like that? Like you can even see his head twerked a little bit. He was like, "Oh, wait, that's not."
Embarrassed. He probably feels like, because I remember the part that I heard, because I heard a longer version of that. When you said you want to talk about this, I watched probably 6 or 7 minutes of it. That was only 2 minutes. And he kept on. He was being respectful. He kept, "Oh, can I respond? Can I respond?" He did that a few times. And I think he really felt like he ate that when he was some of his responses. And his responses were just the typical...
More embarrassing.
Yeah, it was just the typical athlete, bunch of money, narcissistic dude who just says, I want to have more kids, whatever God brings me. But if God brings you a wife, you say you're not ready for her. So, you know what I mean?
And that's another thing. Right. He was like, I want kids however they come to me. So that means you want more women? Like, where do you think babies come from? A stork? Is a stork dropping off kids on your porch? Cut it out. Man. Now, in his defense, I will say 2 of his children are not biologically his. 2 of the kids he calls his kids are not actually his kids. They're from his exes, and he helps raise them. Like, he's still active in these kids' lives. That's great. So we technically only have 6 kids, but 6 kids by 3 different women is really bad. And What annoys me the most is that the newest baby mama, Jasmine Brown, used to go off on Black women for supporting baby mama culture. For I will never be a woman who has a kid and not married and this and that. She did the whole thing. She got with Cam Newton. Now she's like, oh, I spoiled him. He's rotten. Remember the whole he's rotten video? That was
I
her.
know. I have no
Oh,
idea.
he's
No.
rotten. I do everything for him. I take care of him. And then he got her knocked up. And now she's the baby's mama. And like, I'm the happiest I've ever been. And oh, I love being, I
Are they
love
supposed to be together
serving.
now? Are they together now, or she's
They're
just...
together now. She's the girlfriend for now. She's not the fiance. She's not the wife. She's the girlfriend for now. And she just posted a video today saying, you know what? I just love serving my family. I just love serving them. I just made chalupas, and I was like, you're pathetic. And then here, and this, so you can put this out on Life Full Circle Radio. If you're a baby's mama after the man before you had 2 other kids with 2 other chicks, you're pathetic. I don't feel sorry for you. I think you're a piece of garbage. I think you're a dodo bird. I think you're an effing moron. I can't get with it. I can't get with it.
Well, you know, I won't go that far, but you know, I just think culturally, and especially, there's so much commerce that's coming that's exchanging hands now in these type of relationships, right? Whether it be the money you're getting directly from Cam, or the engagement you're getting on social, and who knows what kind of money you're making from that. These people living their lives in public, man. Some of that stuff, y'all just need to just, man, keep that stuff under wraps. And the problem is that the average, you know, chicks is out here saying, and especially here in Atlanta, boy, they everywhere. They are everywhere. And you sit there, and I'm pretty sure there's a share of them, you know, and well, probably not in Florida where you are, because you know. Y'all one of the few blacks and browns in your community, but you know, it's wild. It's wild to see this stuff. But Cam really, you know, and it's hard to tell someone of that level of success, you know, because he was beefing with some sportscasters last week and some other things, but he's not gonna stop. It's giving him the engagement he's looking for, and who knows what kind of revenue it's generating. So. All right. Anything else before we move on?
Nick Cannon also had Dr. Bryant on. You don't have to find that clip, but his is worse because he actually admitted to being manipulative and putting the right face in front of certain women to get them to do what he wanted to do. And was like, he doesn't feel bad about it. And he thought saying that was a positive comment.
He
and
said
Dr. Bryant
he said in the Dr. Bryant interview that he admits to being manipulative.
Yes, to have women want to be with him. That if they want a church boy, he'll be the church boy. If they want the bad boy, he'll be the bad boy. Like, he actually admitted to doing that. And Dr. Bryant still read him for filth too. And he actually got noticeably defensive. And she was like, listen, you do this because you are dealing with low functioning women. And he got mad about that. But it's true.
Here's the funny thing about Nick Cannon, and it's funny to me because anybody who pays attention to Nick Cannon, which I don't pay a lot, but I pay enough. How many TV shows does he have? In every TV show he's on, that's on currently right now, he's a different persona in every show. He got one show where he got the beanie and the hat thing on, and he's being real, you know, it's very serious conversations. Then he got Wild Out.
Culture.
Huh?
He's got council culture with the beanie, trying to be very serious.
Then you got.
Then he has Wildin' Out, where he's wilding, and you know he's got Wildin' Out, and he's got Bad versus Wild, which is even worse than Wilding Out.
Right.
Then he's hosting The Masked Singer, which he's the cool game show host, and
right.
CJ. You know, he's
right. Everything about Nick Cannon says I'm going to be who I need to be in the moment, and you think that personality is not going to translate into his relationships, personal relationships? So, you know, kudos to Dr. Bryant for doing her thing and lighting those brothers up and standing on business. I didn't use all the little cultural words. I didn't light up and stand.
You know, but let me just say this real quick. What makes Nick Cannon worse is, one, he has more babies' moms, and two, he doubled back on women. That to me is just like, oh, so you really don't care about making broken homes.
Oh, no. They don't consider, I don't believe those brothers consider those homes broken because of the resources that they have access to. I
And
really
Dr.
believe
Brian
that.
pointed that out too. Dr.
Yeah.
Brian said, money is great, money is fabulous, but they don't get daddy's time.
Mhm.
If daddy has to go from here to there to here to there,
Right.
that's not getting full-time dad. One
Right.
child is always going to be at a deficit at a different point in life. I was like, she's brilliant. She's telling what everybody in social media can't say in a smart way. She just said it to them.
Yeah, no, and I guess probably the package had both of them fooled. You know, she's a beautiful woman. She came up there, had a gold chain around her neck, Dr. Brian, and then she gave him that smoke. But no, we'll continue that conversation. If you guys have some opinions on that, we'd love to see them in the comments and see what you think about the situation with both Cam Newton and Nick Cannon being read by Dr. Brian. All right, moving on. We talked about D.L. Hughley. I'm looking at what I already had queued up over here. Yeah. And so 4 years ago today, it looks like 4 years ago today is when we lost Chadwick Boseman. There's a story about that that's being posted here on TV1, so you can check that out.
We just watched Black Panther yesterday.
You watched it yesterday?
Yeah, we watched it yesterday.
Yeah. So there's that story that happened today. There's this.
Did you do my what stories? Oh wait, or am I looking at? I'm looking at the wrong sheet. I'm trying to figure out where the stories went.
So this is J.D. Vance was on a speak recently, and he talked about the Arlington National Cemetery situation with Donald Trump. Watch how hard it is for him to find something positive to say about Trump in this exchange. It's kind of funny, actually.
Of all, the altercation at Arlington Cemetery is the media creating a story where I really don't think that there is one. There is verifiable evidence. There is verifiable evidence that the campaign was allowed to have a photographer there. There's verifiable, they were invited to have a photographer there. There's verifiable evidence that the families of these poor people who had their loved ones die 3 years ago at Abbey Road, they had, Abbey Gate.
At Abbey Road?
13 Americans, a lot of them were there with the president. They invited him to be there.
They died in London?
That's not an insult to the memories of their loved ones. They wanted Donald Trump there, and thank God that we have a president who stands with our veterans instead of one who runs away from them.
So then that lazy.
So they died. They died on the same road that the Beatles recorded their album on. I could have sworn isn't it Abu Ghraib?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, but what I saw was in the middle of that thing, he's looking up in the sky and said, I've got to find a point that I can make right now because I'm struggling. I don't even know why I bring it up. And then they always try to pull this nonsense about how Democrats aren't patriotic, how, Democrats are running from soldiers. Man, stop with that nonsense. You're playing yourself. And that's another road that they left wide open. With Tim Walz and his service that he had. It's amazing how a guy who spent 4 years in service, and there is no small, whether you spent 4 minutes, 4 years, or 40 years, you honor the service. But the fact that they try to look at Tim Walz and say, oh, you did 24 years, but, stolen valor. I was like, y'all just it's not sticking, guys.
And they don't know what the definition of stolen valor is. Stolen valor means that he got benefits from claiming to be a war veteran. Is there proof that he used his war veteran status to steal money from the government to get some kind of upgrade or whatever? Did he use it during his, political campaign when he to become governor? That's what stolen valor. It's not just because I said I went to war when I didn't. That's not stolen valor. It would. Whatever. I'm not going. Let's talk about one more fun thing before we only got a few more minutes left. It's on my list. It wasn't on Alexis's list, but DJ Vlad strikes again because DJ Vlad
is this how what? Is this how what? Is this how?
Yeah, go ahead and give me my thing. Okay, so we are here in Home One, and DJ Vlad had an altercation with the most random person ever who doesn't bother anybody, and that would be Marlon Wayans. So apparently Marlon Wayans was asked by DJ Vlad to come on his YouTube channel. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is it just a YouTube channel?
We'll go with that.
Cool. YouTube channel, do an interview. Behind closed doors, Marlon gave him his interview price, and Marlon's interview price is $40,000, which I think is super low. DJ Vlad, now this is all behind closed doors. DJ Vlad publicly decides to put him on blast saying, how dare you ask $40,000? That's such a joke. No one's paying you $40,000 for an interview. And Marlon was like, this was between us. Why are you putting this out in public?
Right.
This negotiation, that's my rate. If you didn't want to accept my rate, don't accept my rate, which is reasonable. Don't accept my rate.
Right.
And Vlad continued to go off, say inappropriate things, call him gay, question his sexuality. And it's just like, Vlad, you are a really crap person. But no one's surprised.
I don't know why people keep on giving this guy all these interviews. Every time I watch or see any clips of people being interviewed on DJ Vlad, they look like they're a hostage when they're doing these interviews. It's like they know Vlad is gonna say something crazy. They know, and they just want to get this whatever honorarium that they got to come on this show. But yeah, you know, the whole thing and that whole Marlon Wayans thing probably stems from the fact he came out in support of, I don't know if his daughter or I think his daughter is LGBTQIA or son, or one or the other. And so this was about a month or so ago.
She's trans.
And he was in, publicly support and was supporting his child and talking about how he's got people with it. The Wayans family has been in Hollywood forever, right? And so you better believe they have friends and people who they socialize with and done business with that they love from the community, that they're heavy in that community. But for Vlad to come out and do this is like further reason why, if I'm in this business, when are these black folks, because all he's doing is interviewing black folk, right? I bet you we go to Vlad's YouTube right now, right? If we go to Vlad's YouTube right now, he's probably got nothing but celebrity black folk that are on his show. What is it about Vlad that they feel like they've got to go on this guy's show and give him the opportunity to always try to make them look bad? I don't get it. I do not get it, man. I swear I don't. I don't.
All it is, and just a quick update that happened 6 hours ago, Vlad actually ended up apologizing to Marlon Wayans, and let me tell you why. I know he apologized because it started to have a real effect. He's probably trying to book interviews with real people who are like, yeah, so I'm going to go with no on coming on your platform. And listen, this didn't happen when he attacked the black professor from Yale. But when you attack somebody like Marlon, who has been in good standing with hundreds of black comedians throughout the years, and you want these black people to come on your show, they're like, no, I'm good. I don't want to. So his apology basically says, I overdid it. And he says, honestly, at the end of the day, it was just a business negotiation. I could have kept it to myself. I overdid it. I do actually respect him. That was the reason why I approached him in the first place. My bad, Marlon. I apologize. It's all good. I think most people just want to respect each other, and I think it could have been handled a little bit differently. You think it could have been handled a little bit differently after you questioned his sexuality, after you tried to publicly embarrass him?
So for people who don't know who DJ Vlad is, if you go to his page, you don't even see his face, right? And DJ Vlad is somebody from Eastern Europe, right? All of
his whole name is Vladimir Kolinkowski. Kolinkowski.
Right. All of his interviews are with black folk, or whoever this guy is. There's one, no, but for the most part, his audience are black folk. And why they continue to give, that's Vlad right there. Why they continue to give these interviews is beyond me. Right now,
his name is Vladislav Lubinvoyi, very Ukrainian.
Yeah, and so exclusive, hard-hitting interviews with rappers, singers, actors, basketball players, football players, professional wrestlers, comedians, blah, 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 blah. And his whole page, and it's smart marketing, because if people would have known that he's getting all of these great interviews with all of these black folk, and he's constantly known for showing these same interviewees so much disrespect. And I'll just sit back and say, man, why in Sam Hill they continue to give this guy this platform? I do not get it. I don't know who he knows or why he gets all, but he does. So it is what it is. So kudos to him for Marlon standing on business and saying, okay, you can shut your mouth. Marlon Wayans right now, who's on the new Bel Air show, playing Will Smith's father, Will Smith character's father. Are you watching that show?
I never watched Bel Air, but I do appreciate the fact that they are bringing in key elements from the original. Because if you remember the whole Lou situation where that was the episode that Will Smith cried with I can't think of his name, with Uncle Phil.
Yeah, well,
that's a Lou character. That is who Marlon is playing in this one. And this season actually is bringing a lot of things that you wish they would have done more in the original Bel Air series. For example, the Jeffrey having a son in the original series, Frederick. That was never dived into. Now this season, apparently they're diving into the Frederick Jeffrey relationship, and the original Jeffrey is playing either a mob boss, or
we watched
his
it
older
this
brother.
Past weekend. No, so the character Jeffrey behind it, if you haven't watched it, the Jeffrey character was a mob. Basically, he was a street gang dude in London before he moved to the States, and he's kind of hiding out in the States. That's how they developed his character. And for people who watch the original Bel Air, this is the same Jeffrey, which is the butler. So the butler character has a storyline. What I love about this Bel Air that they're doing now.
But wait, before you go into that, what's the old Jeffrey playing in this?
The
Please
old
explain
Jeffrey, it was really dope how they brought him in, because even I'm sitting there watching it, and the show is shot so cinematically, kind of in darkness. When he popped up on the screen, he's obviously significantly older now. I looked at Trey, I said, that's the original Jeffrey. And she was like, oh, wow. Right? So he's playing like, basically when the new Jeffrey ran from London, the mobster was supposed to protect him and his family, and it's the old Jeffrey who's playing this mobster from London. So I love it. And I don't know why you're not watching the show. The show is a good show. It is a good show. It really is. Because you have
Next time I have time to myself with this house of so many people, I will turn it on and just sit there and watch it.
I'm telling you, and what they did this year, which is better than last year, they're releasing 3 episodes at a time. So they're giving you an opportunity to binge and not just watch 1 episode a week.
You know what we'll do? Me and Omar have to go to a funeral. I'll tell you off air whose funeral it is. You're not going to believe where we're going on this weekend. I think for the 7-hour drive, we are going to binge Bel Air.
Is it somebody I know?
It's somebody you know.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll wait till you get off there. So, but what they've done is that everybody's character has an arc. Like, I love it. Everybody's character, I'm talking down to, Carlton, he's coming out of rehab, and now mind you, Carlton,
which I appreciate, because the original Carlton had that one incident with the drugs, and now they're making. I just love that they're diving.
Everything has been and they're spending more time on it because they have more time, and they're doing more of a dramatic feel on it. You've got the relationship, because you haven't watched it. I don't want to give it all away, but it's really, really good.
We'll watch it. We got 7 hours.
It's really, really good. And it's really presenting the Black excellence the way that it's really, really good. So. What else are we watching? We just started watching. I'm trying to get into it, and we had close out the show with this. The Mayor of Kingstown. Have you watched?
With Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
No, we have not watched that, but I heard good things, and I'm just happy that Jeremy Renner is healthy enough again to film. Because remember, he got in that really horrible accident. So
okay. Well, I'm wondering.
I'm happy he's able to film.
I don't know if there's any new episodes because it started like 3 years ago. So we're starting.
I think there's a new season out.
Okay, so we're watching that, and what else? What are you watching? While I'm trying to remember what we're watching.
I'm still mad after the whole House of the Dragon fiasco, so I have not found anything to commit my soul to after that. I'm going to stick to my Real Housewives stuff, because I'm still hurt. I'm hurt by that. We dedicated
the Real Housewives of Dubai. Saw her watching that earlier, and I'm just like, oh, now
I just got done watching the episode. Tell Trey to text me, because I just got done watching the last episode. But no, I will get into more stuff. And of course, now that we're out of the writer's strike, all of our favorite shows, me and Miguel's favorite, procedurals, all start up what, September 3rd, 5th, whatever that week is.
Yeah, they're kind of pushing it. Well, yeah, some of them, and then some of them are coming back September. I think the cable stuff is coming back in September, and the network stuff is coming back in early October.
So like we'll be able to have all those shows.
Yeah.
I mean, right now I did watch a movie that people that got bad reviews. It was pretty good. Mad Max Furiosa, that came out on HBO Max. That actually really good. It was very good. I don't know why it did bad in the theaters, because it got great reviews and just didn't do good in the theaters. But it's a good movie, great storyline, explains a lot. So I'm literally just laying in bed watching old episodes of Bones until new stuff comes out and when the new Handmaid's Tale comes out.
I got it. Well, all right. Well, let me see. Make sure we know stories that we said we're gonna talk about that we didn't miss. Let me see.
We were gonna talk about Tyrese's breakdown in the Breakfast Club, but he's stupid and I don't care.
No, yeah, that was funny. We were gonna talk about that. So Tyrese got a new album, and he was actually.
Oh, last hell what? All of the hullabaloo and speculation about George W. Bush or Beyonce or Taylor Swift showing up to the DNC. TMZ, you guys are a bunch of idiots. They were the main ones saying we've confirmed that Beyonce is going to perform. Then people were saying we've confirmed that George W. Bush is going to come out.
Beyonce's the only one that confirms anything when it comes down to Beyonce. Beyonce's not going to let TMZ.
They confirmed Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift was like, no, I'm over here trying to fight off terrorists. Like, no, I'm not coming either. We're not. It's fine. Whatever. I just thought it was so interesting that people are trying to, like, attach all these major celebrities to this event, but they weren't really needed. It would have been nice, but it wasn't really needed.
Yeah, no.
Especially, again, I'm sorry for bringing up old stories. Yeah. The fact that the letter came out with 200 very famous Republicans supporting Kamala Harris.
Kamala.
God damn. I'm gonna get it. Supporting Kamala.
Yeah. So yeah, and you had Jeff, what's his name, from out of Georgia. He was here, and so very interesting. There was a story out there, Megyn Kelly calling the girl from Caitlyn yeah.
Megyn, you go to hell. You sitting there with resting bitch face had the nerve to call somebody else cold. Are you serious? As you sit there with an off the shoulder tub. When you're at work, treat work like church. Podcasts are like church. Put something on your shoulders. Have some straps on. Have some respect for yourself, honey.
We are so far past that day in our lives, man. Everybody, you got Kamala out there, and they got to bleep her out. She dropping F-bombs. We just are so far. It's all about getting attention now. You got to get people's attention. That's how people are moving. And it's crazy. Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Follow us on all these socials and all that. And if you're on Fanbase, follow me on Fanbase. I'm there too, Miguel Lord INC. It's definitely gaining momentum for sure. Had a great event last night, the Gathering Spot. Some amazing Black entrepreneurs were there last night doing their thing at that family meeting. I might post some pictures from that. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings.